Valentine's Day. A very special day for all those couples out there. Not me though. As a single guy, I can just watch movies, eat cereal, read visual novels with anime girls, and date them. Because that doesn't sound depressing enough. Now I have had my fair share of girlfriends in the past. 4 of them to be exact. 3 of them were shit. One of them was a genuine relationship that almost lasted for 2 years, until she broke up with me because she was feeling depressed. Well, girls are just complicated, I guess. And while I do genuinely want to be in a relationship in the future, I don't think that's gonna happen because I suffer from social anxiety. If you told me to go walk up to a girl, talk with her, get to know her, and see if you have like common interests, I would say, no, I'm not gonna do that. I already have so much difficulties talking with new people that it's even hard for me to even talk with a girl and try to be in a relationship with her. So yeah, I don't think getting a relationship is a goal that I'm gonna succeed in these couple of years. But what if there was a way you can make a lover? What if there was a way you can find a relationship that's easy to just make? Get to know the girl and then you start a relationship as you slowly come together and see that you have feelings for each other. So let's take a look at a visual novel that can do that. Let's take a look at Making Lovers. This right here is Making Lovers, a romantic comedy visual novel released in November 24, 2017 in Japan and April 3, 2020 in the US, developed and published by Smee. Now this is a pretty iconic romantic comedy visual novel that you've probably heard of before, so let's take a closer look and see what it has to offer. The story centers around Kazuma, a young man who has no one special in his life and has a family that constantly reminds him to find a girlfriend. So in his quest to find a girlfriend, he stumbles upon 5 different women. His proactive younger sister Ako, mischievous and stylish model Reina, eccentric weirdo Mashiro, sensitive and refined weather forecaster Saki, and the stubborn yet loyal Forrest Karen. Whichever girl he follows will lead to a completely different and unique path that will no doubt bring chaos into his life. The idea for the story is super short but easy to understand and look forward to. Just a guy who wants to find a girlfriend. Nothing too special, right? What gets interesting is how everything all sets up as you slowly choose which girl you want to pursue. The common round not only allows you to get to know these characters, but easily shows you how fun and lively this type of simple story can really be. We've seen this kind of story numerous of times, but this VN does it in a way where it makes it feel entertaining to read. Gameplay is easy, and I mean very easy. The novel tells you whether you want to pursue this girl or not. It's basically a yes or no question, so there's no hassle into trying to make tons of choices to enter one route. But another portion of the gameplay is making dates. You'll go through 2 dates, and you'll decide where to hang out, where to eat, and which place to end off the date at. What's cool is that you get different reactions with each choice, so it'll all be different for each girl, which is going to be really hilarious. Plus, if you choose the correct date locations based on the heroine's personality, you get an exclusive H scene before the end of her route. Although, the H scenes in this novel are pretty uninspiring to be honest. So for today's video, we're not going to talk about the H scenes. I'm sorry, but they're just really not that good. The art looks very nice. There's some charm to the character design, and to be honest, it's very simple looking, but it's not bad at all. There's a nice variety of colors, well-made background art, and character designs that fantastically fit the personalities of those characters. In reality, it's solid and very well done. The writing for the novel is insanely goofy. As you slowly start to go through the short common route, you'll soon start to see the iconic comedic writing the novel is known for. One of, if not the most iconic part of Making Lovers, is its comedy. The comedy within the writing is absolutely chaotic, fast-paced, and hilariously well done. There's always a chance to take a breather when it focuses more on calmer and romantic moments, but that chaotic comedy soon returns later on in the next scene. I genuinely really like this type of humor. It's pure frantic comedy where the jokes either just appear out of nowhere, doesn't make sense at all, or is just a batshit crazy chaotic mess. It's fast paced and in your face a lot of the times, and I genuinely think this is the reason why Making Lovers is so memorable to many readers, as there's a ton of iconic and hilarious moments throughout that is just too funny to not laugh at.
さあ新人くん、次はゴミ捨て。これは説明なしでもできるでしょ。私がゴミだって言いたいのか。
バーガー、ラップに包んで渡すんだよ。まあ見てろ。こうしてパンに肉とレタスを挟んで手早くラップに包んでだな。最後は客にダイレクトアタックだ。
大変申し訳ございません、お客様。
なあ、簡単だろ。
マジかよ。寝たな。
まあ。なんでそこまでわかるんですか。
やっぱ
まさか騙した
おかまだけに釜をかけてみたの。
次に先輩、今好きなアイドルとか歌手とか芸能人で特別ひいきにしている女性って一人でもいます？いるんですね。
The voice acting is really damn good. It's one of those novels where the VAs go all out with their voices, especially when they have to make their voices like louder or higher pitched due to the writing. So basically most of the VN is filled with loud screaming moments, which easily makes the VN so much more funnier. Here, take a listen to the voice acting.
私のハムジローを返して、さっさと返して。
びっくりした。あなたいつからここで働いてたの？
あなたには説明の義務があります。これからちょっと私に付き合って。
先輩、今すぐ私にスマホ見せてください。メール、アドレス帳、その他 SNS 関連全部です。履歴もチェックします。フルオープンです。ご託はいいですからさっさと出してください。いや、どうしてそうなるの？いや、むしろ好きな方。なんでよ、美味しいんだから別にいいでしょ。
わからない。恋愛は言葉じゃ語れないもの。
脱がないでよ、意味わかんない。
ほらアッコ、分裂して増えたみたいよ。
増えなくていいよ。私は普通の犬が欲しいの。
The music isn't too bad either. It's nothing really that special other than the opening song and the ending song, but the rest of the novel's music is very simple to be honest. But it's not really memorable, but it gets the job done. It has that poppy vibes to it. Here, take a listen to the music. Now let's focus on the routes. Now there's a total of 5 routes to go through, each of them offering completely different experiences from one another. So let's go over each route and see what they have to offer. The first route focuses on Akko, Kazuma's younger sister who isn't related to him. She's like the perfect wife. But of course, brother and sister can't be together, right? Well, when Kazuma suddenly works at the same burger joint Ako is working at, could this brother and sister relationship turn into something new? The second round focuses on Reina. Reina is both a high school girl and a model. When Kazuma meets her for the first time, he sees how insanely active she is and serious about her career. But when Kazuma begins to work as a dorm mother and meets Reina once again, he begins to see her life through his perspective and witnesses the troubles she's about to cause in his life. The third route focuses on Saki, a refined weather reporter for the local news who happens to meet Kazuma at a bar. But there's just one problem. She's an adult who has no experience in dating whatsoever. But as Kazuma finds a job at the same local news station that Saki works at, their relationship is about to get louder than ever before. The fourth route focuses on Mashiro, a young woman who lives next door to Kazuma's apartment and works at a fancy restaurant called the Leviathan. As the two get to know each other and as Kazuma gets a job at her workplace, you'll see how fun life can truly be living next to a lively, yet weird person. The final route focuses on Karen, a stubborn woman who simply wants to achieve her dream as a florist. While she has chatted with Kazuma in college, they never really got to know each other. Deep down, she's a really kind-hearted person behind that tsundere wall, and only Kazuma will be able to break down that wall and cause chaos to her life. I personally enjoy these routes. I like how they were all different from one another. They all have variety within each other. You won't get the same experience when you play through the routes, which is a really nice change of pace. I really like it when novels do this with their routes, when they try to change it up and offer new experiences that differentiate itself with the other routes. The characters really make a lot of the routes be entertaining, hilarious, and heartwarming. It's also thanks to the writing that really brings a ton of character and personality within them, making them feel very lively. Even the side characters have some good moments within, especially the side heroines. The main heroines are all wonderful, like you'll literally fall in love with each and every one of them. They really make the novel, again, feel so lively. Plus it's cool to see some of the heroines are also adults too, since most of the VNs I've read had heroines around high school. It's a really nice change of pace. The romance is wholesome and cute, since this is mostly Kazuma trying to get to know the characters. It's nice to see him trying to form a bond first with them before going into a full-on relationship. The romance is adorable as soon as he goes on dates with the heroines. It still retains the goofy comedy within the writing, but also tries to be genuine when it focuses more on the future of the relationship or some serious moments. When you think about it, Kazuma is a really pathetic MC. He is terrible when it comes to romance as he absolutely fails at everything about it. Even in his life, his adopted parents bully him so much for not even having a single girlfriend in his life. But as you read the common route, you'll soon start to see how he really does try to change. He wants to be able to support his heroine of choice as well as make the relationship work. He literally tries to be a better person. Kazuma has so many faults within him, but it's really nice to see that he's able to try and be different for his girl. Now, who do I consider the best girl? Honestly, I love Karen. She is simply a fantastic heroine and has a ton of hilarious comedy and crazy amount of really unique writing that makes her character burst with energy. While her story is pretty simple and standard, her relationship with Kazuma is what makes her character stand out as the best. In reality, when you think about it, Kazuma and Karen's relationship is pretty unhealthy. A ton of shouting and yelling and a lot of disagreements. They don't really look like a lovely couple. But for her, she tries to make it work for the both of them. No matter how loud the two are, they try to work together as a team. Kazuma genuinely does care about Karen. It may not look like it, but he fully supports her dream of being a florist. They might fight, but out of all the relationships within the novel, this might be the most realistic relationship. Not every relationship is bound to be perfect. There is bound to be many issues along the way, and Karen tries to make it work as they try to resolve these issues within the relationship. It honestly makes you appreciate her as she tries to make everything work out. And to me, I just really found her route to be very satisfying. Also, yup, Ryoko Ono is voicing Karen. She also did the voice for Rika from Hoshiyori Yume Murai. And man, she was on fire with this role. You can't go wrong with her work. Ryoko did such a fantastic job voicing Karen. Making Lovers received very positive reviews from readers alike, praising the heroines and the comedy. Now, what are my thoughts on this novel? I absolutely loved it. It was a breath of fresh air for me after reading novels like Hoshiori and A Sky Full of Stars. The fast-paced and frantic comedy, the unique and colorful writing, heroines that offer variety in its routes. Making Lovers is a hilarious and outstanding romantic comedy visual novel that is absolutely worth the read. It's a fun novel if you're a big fan of quirky and random comedy, romance that takes its time to develop, and cheeky writing that will absolutely shock you in a really good way. This is your go-to novel. Before we end this video, let's take a look at the after stories to these routes that were released in a separate package called Making Lovers After Stories. This is Making Lovers After Stories, a short fan disc for Making Lovers, which was released back in April 27, 2018 in Japan and August 28, 2022 in the US. This is a fan disc containing short after stories for all the main heroines, not for the side heroines of course, since they probably hate us and want to suffer with no Kazuma or Akari routes. But honestly, there's not much to talk about Making Lovers After Stories. Most of the so-called after stories are odd short stories that really make no sense at all, or are completely random as all hell. Like Mashiro's after story is about a lobster virus spreading throughout Mashiro and Kazuma's workplace, and Ako's after story is about Ako competing with her father as to who can seduce Kazuma the better. Yeah. I don't know, I personally didn't really like this fan disc, which is a shame to be honest, but these stories really didn't have the same feeling as the original novel. In fact, some of the stories were a bit mean-spirited than usual. It didn't really leave a big impact on me. For me, my personal favorite after story was Reina's. It was mostly due to the comedy and how it basically felt more like a proper after story. At the very least, much of the goofy comedy is back, and there are some parts that were standout hits. So at least that was fun to see.
笑わない。電子メールと現物が届く国際郵便はありがたみが全然違うっつってんだろ。あと水着画像の見返りとしてそっちの腹筋画像はどうした？あと二の腕の血管。ちょっと何これ。感動の再開になる予定のはずじゃ。きっと1年の遠距離恋愛という現実が知らない間に2人の心を錆びつかせてしまったのね。
But what's cool is that before entering an after story, you can change the design of the heroine's hair, if you either wanted to stay as the original or change it up and put a different design. This is such a nice inclusion, since after all, these are after stories. The hair selection is really neat since it feels like time has really passed since the endings of the original novel. Plus, it's really cute to see the different hair designs for each heroine. But what's sad is that we don't get side stories for the side heroines, Kazuma and Akari. That's a huge shame, since they were one of the best side heroines in the original novel. They had some great moments throughout the novel, and it's a shame that they never got their proper route. I think that would have been a great inclusion to the fan disc. So yeah, Making Lovers After Stories was sort of a miss for me. But if you want to experience more goofy moments with the many heroines, this is your fan disc. Just don't go in expecting too much, as you can easily finish this in under 5 hours. Overall, Making Lovers is a fantastic series, having so much charm and personality with the heroines and the comedic writing being one of the best aspects of the novel. I highly recommend checking this series out if you haven't yet. You seriously don't want to miss on this chaotic story, where making a lover is sure to cause some chaos. Now there is a quote-unquote sequel to Making Lovers. It's actually a standalone story. It's called Hajilove Making Lovers. And while it's not translated in English, you can still read it in English using the machine translation. However, machine translations are pretty mixed, so it's up to you if you do want to decide to read it. I haven't read it yet myself, but it does look like an interesting visual novel, so I'll probably add that to my wish list. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.